good to see everybody. It's been a while. Always enjoy, the quick turnarounds, and that's what we're kind of doing. That's what last week was. Playing 3 games in 7 days. It was just quick turnaround after quick turnaround, and when you have older guys, it's helpful, right? Because they like it because they just like playing games. They don't like practicing. I love practicing, but you can't practice a whole lot when you got to play like 2 days later. Excuse me. But now we're right back at it. Quick turnaround for early in the year. You have to constantly get better as a team, right? You have to worry about your own team, like how you can take steps to get better, and we have to worry about that. But we also have good opponents that we have upcoming, and Furman is they're right there at the top in terms of really good teams. They got guys that cause you problems, kind of take your sleep away when you're thinking about how you guard them. Just some mismatch kind of problems. So I know Bob Ritchie. He's a really good coach, really good guy. So this will be a great test for us. But one we're looking forward to. We've now, we're just adding the amount of quality teams that we're playing. It's just making us sharper. And now we need to put it together for 40 minutes to be good against these guys.
You guys can feel free to just pass this amongst yourselves.
Micah, could you talk about your strategy with playing time for Keba? What are the things that you're attempting to balance there? Because we see the upside, but we also see some foul trouble. So what are you balancing there?
Yeah, a lot of it is we want to play fast. We have to play at max effort is what I'm telling our guys right now. It's hard to do. It's hard to do for long stretches, especially this early in the season. You guys you can't replicate how we play to like a game environment. You can't do that in practice. So, to really ramp up, it takes it, it's like a gut punch, and it takes it out of you. So, guys that right now at this point in the season aren't ready to play those long extended periods. I think if you've looked at any of the teams that we've played, went through Loyola, Butler, their guys are gassed. We're trying to sub like hockey lines to keep guys as fresh as we can. He's got to get that part of it where he can play for long stretches. It's such a physical game, especially down there in the post. And then, we're asking him to play pick and roll defense. We're asking him to rebound. We're asking him to sprint to the other end. We're asking him to set ball screens, roll, get it, flash back up, catch it, go into the dribble handoff, go on the other side, set the ball screen, roll again, sprint back on defense. I don't know if anybody can do it at the max level. So he'll get there. He'll get there. He's doing a good job. Every second that he gets on the court is helpful because he's just trying to shorten that learning curve with every moment.
Okay, playing off that a little bit, how important are Evan, Jamil, and Kanye going to be in Charleston? Because, we saw last night you cut the rotation at 8 against a tough opponent. How important are those guys going to be, potentially 3 games in 4 days?
Yeah. I talked to all those guys about really being ready for your moment, being ready for your opportunity. I think everybody will have a chance to help us and help us win. I've tried in the first couple of games to get those guys some minutes and some meaningful minutes, right? Not at the end when it's 25 points. Tried to get them in the first half. I've tried to get them in a little bit in the second half when it's close, where they're getting some intense moments. So hopefully it helps, but, you know, they're playing against, like, we're playing against good people, so they gotta be as sharp as possible. So, you know, we do some things on these off days to try and keep them sharp, right, in terms of how they're working out, like playing some games, doing some defensive stuff to keep them sharp, get them the reps that they need. So now when, you know, when their number is called, they're able to step in and help us.
At this kind of early stage in the season, and some of the teams specifically that you're playing, what's the balance of weight on the scout and just who you are and who you want to be?
Yeah, I think you think about like a tournament like this coming up where you're going to play 3 games in 4 days. You have to lean on your system. Like your system has to be good because you don't have time to go through everything that they're going to do. Like you know, I said it to one of the refs last night about something, and I was like, hey. I was talking to Brian O'Connell. I was like, Brian, I have an encyclopedia of plays. And I just wait. I love to use them. Like you might see something one game, you might not see it for another 5, right? And then we bring it back out. Like Bob Ritchie's got the same thing at Furman. So like we can't go through everything that they're going to do because I got no idea. And the same thing, you know, if you're fortunate to move on and play, like you look at these teams, like you see Davidson, you see Virginia Tech, you see South Carolina, Colorado State, like these dudes can coach and you don't have time to go through everything. So you have to lean on your system, you have to lean on what you've put in and then trust it, and then you got to, you know, be able to play off instincts from there to take some stuff away.
Coach, Miles Dredd has had some early success off the bench. How do you think that veteran presence from there is going to lead into a successful Charleston tournament?
Miles, there's a guy that we work with, a company we work with that helps us in recruiting, helps us in team building and stuff. And one of the things he told me was like, Miles loves the chaos. And like you see it, right? He makes big shots and throughout his career, like those moments don't bother him. Like he thrives in those moments. So, you know, last night and those guys go on a run and, you know, maybe we're a little bit wobbly, you know, early in the second half and we just need a spark. Like that's Miles' time right there. Like he loves that part of it. Like he really, really can't wait for those moments, right? For him to make a huge shot, for him to get a stop, for him to get a rebound, for him to guard some dude in the post that he's not supposed to be guarding, and he just, you know, gets a stop on him and gets the rebound. Like that's who he is. He's you know, he's been playing great here at the start of the year. Just kind of doing what he does. You know, he's taking open shots. He's making open shots. He's been a ball mover for us. He's been defending people. He's been a talker. So, you know, we need him. This is a tournament for the old guys. Right? They've been through these kind of things where they see it and they can go from one thing to the next and know, like as soon as it's over, let's get ready for the next game. And like that's that kind of veteran leadership that, you know, we're getting from Miles, we're getting from Pick, Seth, Funk, Cam, all those guys.
Micah, I think it might have been on media day, you said that you felt like the offense was a little bit ahead of the defense. I think we've definitely seen the offense over the past week. How do you feel about where the defense is, how it's coming along?
I think we're getting closer to where we need to be. I thought we gave up too many threes in our first game to win through, but you know, it's been better the last couple games. But also, you know, who you play kind of dictates that as well in terms of your three-point defense, things like that. We're getting there's small things that we can continue to correct. There's still a couple things that we haven't shown yet, That, you know, but, you know, you gotta get good at it in practice before you unveil it during a game. So, like, but playing these quick games, you don't have time to practice as much. So, there'll be some other things that I think we'll start to add more as we get closer to the Big Ten and we get into the second part of the season. But we gotta get our base defense down, and I think the knowledge is there. The execution is getting closer and closer. We just have the moments where it's not every possession. You know, we have pick and roll defense, and there's 2 really good possessions, and then there's just 1 so-so possession, right? We got to get it to where it's 3 really good possessions, and I think that's when we'll really start to take off defensively. But you know, I like the effort that we're playing with. You know, we need to be a little more active with our hands, try and create some more turnovers just by being in the right spot. I think that'll help us some too. We haven't done that the last couple of games.
Micah, you remember you talking about like how fun it is being able to coach these guys. What's it like seeing this team come together through that veteran leadership core and trickling on down to the freshmen?
It's like one of my favorite parts, and you know, I go through and watch the game a couple different times after a game. So I usually start and watch all of our defensive possessions in a row. Then I'll watch all of our offensive possessions in a row and get some clips, you know, for us as a team to watch for the next day. Then I go back and watch it again in full time, so I can kind of get the feel of the flow of the game, right, from offense to defense, from possession to possession, like how the game flow is going, right, and I watch it that way. But when I'm watching it in that way, one thing I always look at, and this is like as a coach, this is like, you know, this is when you start to see your culture, right? So we got 5 freshmen, okay? One of them's playing, 4 of them didn't get in the game last night. And when we go on a run, or like even not, like, you know, when we're playing offense, you know, especially in the second half when I'm watching, right, because they're on our end, like you see Pickett make a play, you see Cam make a play, whatever it may be, and you see all of those freshmen standing up and celebrating, right? Like, it'd be very easy for them to be sitting on the bench pouting that they're not getting in. It'd be really easy for them to be complaining, like, man, I could be doing that, whatever it may be. But one of the things we always talk about is celebrating each other's success. And those guys are doing it, right? Like, they don't know. They don't know when their time is coming. But if I'm sitting on the bench pouting and worried about that, when I get my name called, I'm going to be terrible. It's guaranteed you're going to be terrible when you get in the game, right? Because you're not engaged. You're not cheering for others. You're leaving the focus on yourself and not on our team. And I think, like, as a coach, I'm watching those things. I'm seeing how they are in those moments. Those dudes are all in. They're all in, and that like, you know, that's why I say I enjoy coaching this team. I enjoy being around it. We got a lot of selfless guys that are cheering for other people because they know, like, their time could be coming, and those guys will be doing the same exact thing for them.
Micah, we haven't seen Demetrius Lilly yet this season. How close is he to a return to the court, and how do you expect him to impact the rotation once he does come back?
Yeah, he's been in actually this week. He's probably practiced more this week than he has. Like, you know, he's been in and out a little bit, so it hasn't been consistent. But like he's been in everything this week, so you know, I think he's closer. The hard part is, like I said, you don't. His biggest thing is he's the game conditioning. He just doesn't get it. So in practice, that is what I mean. Just doesn't get it in practice like you need to in a game. So we got to get him up to speed. It's so hard. And then you also, you know, I was talking to Coach Painter about this morning, that sometimes you don't play people to protect them, right? Like, you throw somebody into a game, like I think all of our freshmen are going to be really good, but I don't know if last night's game was the game for them, right? The first time you're playing a high major opponent in a pretty, tense atmosphere environment, both teams are playing really hard. Like, sometimes, like, you don't want to put a guy out there and have him fail in that moment, right? Now, like, his confidence is shook a little bit. I think those guys need to continue to earn their way into time through what they do when they get their time and what they're doing in practice. And I think Meach has to do that. Like, he's got to be able to see himself play. Hopefully we get some opponents where we can get up again and give him, 5 to 6 minutes of action so he can get his feet wet and get going a little bit. He is, he's got some physicalness to him. He's determined on the glass. He really goes after the offensive glass. He's got great hands, but he's really crafty offensively. Like, facing the basket, he can pass. He can handle the ball. He kind of slips through the cracks a little bit when he's rolling. So he can bring us another different kind of element when he's in. So I'm looking forward to getting him some time, before we really get going here into the season.
Great, thank you, Coach.
All good?
Thanks.
All right, thank you, guys.
Safe travels.